are making a lot of noise at AT&T Stadium.
Anything that moves between these lines, got to get dealt with.
10, 5, and he streaks in. Deep to the post to Lamb. At the 5, to the goal line.
Dallas Cowboys Game Night is presented by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
Line drive to Turpin, and it bounces through his legs. Here he comes. Turpin spinning free. Here he goes. Fastest man in the NFL. Turpin takes it all the way. Touchdown, Dallas.
Just when the Dallas Cowboys needed a spark to bring an end to a 5-game losing streak, Turpin with the spin move and a 99-yard kick return to lead the Cowboys to a 34-26 win over the Washington Commanders on the road in Week 12. Welcome into Cowboys Game Night. I'm your host, Kyle Yeomans, as we take you through the Cowboys' 4th win of the 2024 NFL season. Let's start by taking a look at the highlights. The Cowboys taking on Dan Quinn's Commanders. It was all about special teams early. Brandon Aubrey on the opening drive for Dallas has his 35-yarder blocked by the Washington special teams unit. They take it all the way back to the Dallas 34. That leads to a Washington field goal. They take an early 3-0 lead. That wasn't it, though, in terms of special teams miscues for either the Cowboys or the Commanders. Next possession, Brandon Aubrey, 42 yards out. Almost automatic from that distance. He misses it to the right, but he wasn't alone. On the next drive for Washington, Austin Siebert, he misses a shot wide to the right as well. Both special teams units struggling early on. Let's fast forward to the third, tied at 3. Washington finally got some rhythm on the offensive side of the football. Jaden Daniels, the rookie standout, takes this in from 17 yards out. Washington up 9-3 after a missed PAT. Cooper Rush finds an answer as he gets this to Jalen Tolbert. The Cowboys do kick their PAT. They take a 10-9 advantage. It's their first lead since Week 9 when it was 3-0 against the Atlanta Falcons. Into the fourth quarter we go. Dallas up by 4. It was the defense that shined for much of the game. They do so again to start the final frame. Donovan Wilson forces the fumble. Eric Kendricks recovers. What does Dallas do with it? They drive down the field. Cooper Rush finds a wide open Luke Schoonmaker. First touchdown for a tight end all season long. It's 20-9 Cowboys, but Washington not done yet. Jaden Daniels goes to Zach Ertz in the back of the end zone. Tit for tat when it comes to Zach Ertz into the back of the end zone, but then on the ensuing kickoff, 20-17, Washington with a little momentum. Turpin presses the B button, and he is gone. Turpin speed goes 99 yards to the house. He takes a one-possession ball game, turns it into 2. It was an incredible return for Turpin, who has already shown himself as one of the elite returners in all of football. He made a Pro Bowl 2 years ago. He's working his way into all-pro territory with not only this kick return, but he had the 60-yard punt return in Week 1. He also had a 64-yard reception for a touchdown last week in the loss against the Houston Texans as well. Turpin puts the Cowboys on top by 10. But if you know anything about Dan Quinn's team, they will not quit. Terry McLaurin was quiet throughout much of the game. He gets behind the defense here, makes a move on the secondary, and takes off for 86 yards. This has a chance to tie the game. The whole stadium is ruckus. All they need is a PAT, but Siebert misses again. A heartbreaker for Washington. They give up a touchdown on the ensuing onside kick, and the Cowboys win it 34-26, the final score from Landover, Maryland. They beat the Commanders for the 6th time in 7 tries, and they hand Dan Quinn a loss inside the division in their first meeting against their former defensive coordinator. As we welcome in Isaiah Stanback, Super Bowl champion, Emmy Award winner. This was a wild second half, and normally this season it's gone the opposite direction for the Cowboys, but they got it done today.
Yeah, they found a way to make it work. And the reality is his defense stepped up in a major way. You know, you had some guys come back. You had Deron Bland come back. Obviously, you got Eric Kendricks a couple weeks ago. And then you got Micah Parsons back last week. It's starting to come back around. And these guys kept this game close enough for something crazy like a Cavante Turpin, you know, it's a little muff kickoff return, picked up and hit the B button, take it to the house like my guy Kyle said. You allow for plays like that to be the deciding factor. You're going up against a team who has been hot all year long. These guys have not turned the ball over. They have not put themselves in bad position. But yet today, you found a way to overcome that team and overcome your old defensive coordinator.
It was a roller coaster game. Offense, defense, special teams, all of it. And you saw a little bit of everything in the highlight. But when we come back, let's talk about the good side of the offense. Isaiah's going to break down one of the touchdowns from Cooper Rush to Luke Schoonmaker. How did the Cowboys find the end zone on this play? And how did Cooper Rush post his career best as a starter in terms of quarterback rating?
This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Yeah, you just got to get that ball rolling. That's kind of what we talked about. That was the messaging all week. Get one. And, you know, especially going into a short week, you know you can get two real quick, too. So you just got to get that one. And full team effort today, as everyone saw, and it was awesome.
Cooper Rush talking about what this team needed in terms of a spark on the offensive side. They had just 10 points last week, 6 the week before against Philadelphia. And Isaiah Stanback, this looked like an entirely new offense against Dan Quinn, and we know what he can do on the defensive side of the football as well. What happened to help spark the Cowboys up front?
You know what? Well, it starts up with the offensive line. The offensive line took care of business. But behind the offensive line, there's a dude by the name of Cooper Rush. Okay. And Cooper Rush was able to see exactly what Dan Quinn was doing, maybe because he's seen it 1,000 times before over the last 3 years. I don't know. But either way, Dan Quinn came out here and tried to mess around with Cooper Rush. There's a safety right here. You know where the other safety is? The other safety is all the way down in the box. There's a cornerback right here. So what they're trying to do, they are trying to run what we call cover 4. This guy's responsible for that half, or sorry, cover 6. That guy's responsible for that half. He's responsible for that gap. This guy gets over here. That's really what's going on in that half of the field. Now, over here, he's supposed to be dropping. Those guys are all responsible for that half of the field. So it's really split down the middle. But the thing is, this safety thought that this safety was going to get back. He did not. As soon as Cooper Rush was able to sit back here and see that this safety was sitting entirely too low, he knew that his guy in Schoonmaker, who's right here in the near slot, had an opportunity to get over the top. This just happened to be a bust in coverage, but it all started with Cooper Rush knowing exactly who was the biggest threat. This was the man that he needed to be looking at. That's the man he had his eyes on the whole time. And because he decided to stay low, pause it right now. Boom. Now, as soon as that man is that close to the line of scrimmage and Schoonmaker is even, we always say if you're even, we're leaving. And that is the only play that he had because defensively, that's covered. That was the only man that can make this play, and that is going to be Schoonmaker right there, running right down the middle of the field. And Cooper Rush finds him, makes a big play, and that is a big touchdown for the Dallas Cowboys. It is something that was necessary. It's something that he saw, and all of a sudden, there goes big points on the board.
There had been 450 pass attempts from the Dallas Cowboys this year. Lots of those to tight ends. That was the first touchdown for a tight end in any game this season. Jake Ferguson, Luke Schoonmaker, Brevin Spanford, doesn't matter. They finally found a way to get the guys in the red zone that need to get involved in the red zone. How encouraging is that moving into the final 6 games?
It's huge because not only are you missing your guy in Jake Ferguson, okay, but all of a sudden he goes off the table. Well, who steps in? Luke Schoonmaker, somebody that you drafted with a high draft pick, but now he's starting to come into his own. He's usually an inline blocker, but now he's obviously becoming somebody who's dependable in the passing game. And behind him, right, the third string guy, Brevin Spanford, he was 100% on his attempts and completions today. So he's becoming a threat for you as well, and they're learning how to utilize their size and learning their abilities. And they have an opportunity to start heating this thing up. As the defense starts to get stronger, well, all of a sudden the offense might be gaining some confidence as well.
Let's keep it to the offensive side of things. And when we come back, Cavante Turpin isn't just a weapon on special teams like he was today, 99 yards to the house, but he could be a weapon on offense. What has he shown over the last 2 weeks that could change the mind of Cowboys fans and really the coaching staff as this season continues on?
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
I really think about just going get down, but when I seen all of them going to the left, I just knew I can just, bring the spin move out, something nobody ever seen for me. Hopefully I can get them from the backside, and I just slid right through.
We remember when
Cavante Turpin, 99-yarder. That's what he saw on it. Was he said, you know what? Everybody's going to go that way. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to spin move out of this and take it to the house. Back alongside Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Isaiah, you have a unique vantage point because you played quarterback in college, got drafted into the NFL, played wide receiver, tight end, and a whole lot of special teams alongside that. So you kind of know what it's like to try and establish yourself among an NFL roster via special teams, but stick on offense. Have you seen enough from Cavante Turpin to handle that moving forward?
Absolutely. And let me say this first. As a kick returner in the league, okay, when I first got drafted by Dallas, that was my first job, to be the kick returner for the Dallas Cowboys. The confidence that you have to put your foot in the ground and turn your back, turn your back to the cover team that has been running full speed to come hit you. You're the only one they care about. And then know that you're going to be able to outrun these guys is absolutely insane. But Cavante Turpin, we've been talking about it for weeks now. This dude is a threat. He is a weapon. You heard them say it on the broadcast. They consider him to be the fastest player in the league. Well, one thing I know for sure is he's up there in that top echelon. So he is one of the fastest players, if not the fastest offensive player in the league. They have to continue to find ways to get him the ball. They have to find ways to get the ball in his hand. They tried to do so today. They gave it to him one time at the line of scrimmage, I think for a gain of 8. Obviously, he had 99 when he got the ball in his hands on special teams, but you're missing out on a weapon that can produce those type of splash plays. One a game. That's all you're looking for. Just give me one splash play a game. You saw it last week. It showed up on the board when he scored a touchdown, and then you saw it tonight when you saw him score on the kickoff return. Keep finding ways to get the ball in his hand at the line of scrimmage and down the field because he is one of the most electrifying players in the league.
He was the first player in Cowboys history to have a receiving touchdown of 60 yards or more last week against Houston, a punt return of 60 yards or more, that was week 1 against Cleveland, and now he adds us a 99-yard kick return to say, hey, I've got all 3 levels of this thing covered. Do you expect more touches from Cavante Turpin on the offensive side of it?
They have to. I mean, if you have arguably the fastest player in the league on offense on your team, and the only thing that's holding you back from getting him the ball is just his confidence in catching the ball, then take him to the jugs machine, get him with the quarterbacks after practice, before practice, whatever you have to do, because you cannot continue to act as if you don't have that kind of weapon on your team. And if you do, then that's negligence, right? So find a way to get it in his hands, because when he does and he has space, you see the result.
Isaiah will personally work out onto the practice field and throw balls to Cavante Turpin all day, every day, if that's what it takes. Now, let's flip to the defensive side for the Cowboys. It was a roller coaster day on that side as well. When we come back, we'll hear from Micah Parsons. We'll take a look at one of the 2-point conversions for Washington. How can the Cowboys continue improving on the defensive side of the football, even after having a nice day against Jaden Daniels and company?
To watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Yeah, we did a great job. I just wish we finished better at the end. Letting them get that touchdown at the end, that really bothered me. But that's what I mean when I say we're a good team. We're slowly putting games together. This time we did all 3 quarters. I would just like us to finish better in the 4th quarter, but we're definitely on our way to being a team that we want to be.
Post-game, Micah Parsons told Jaden Daniels, if you guys would have played like that down the stretch, you may have had a chance to win this game. Well, Washington had a chance to win this game. You kick a PAT late, it's tied at 27.
Thanks.
And there's a lot of things that can happen from that point forward. Back here on Cowboys Game Night, what did you see from the defense today that may have been a way to build upon? Because they did some positive things, but they also gave up some stuff like Micah just alluded to late. What did you see on the film?
I saw pressure. I saw guys playing with their heart, and that's something that we haven't seen collectively out of that unit. this defense allowed Micah Parsons to do what he does best, and that's get pressure on the quarterback. He finished with a handful of pressures. He finished with a handful of sacks. We got some knockdowns at the line of scrimmage. Jaden Daniels never seemed like he was fully comfortable sitting in the pocket. And then when he did throw the ball, we had some sticky defense. You know, you had a cornerback in Trayvon Diggs who obviously was not there and not present and available today, but you had a Josh Butler who stepped up in a major way, and Josh Butler just took care of business. And Scary Terry was quiet into the fourth quarter, and that's somebody who's one of the most respected receivers in the league. So you have some young guys who really stepped up, and then Coach Zimmer put Donovan Wilson in a position to be successful. We talked about it in a pregame show today. Donovan Wilson is an electrifying player, but you have to put him in his environment, you know. So that's one of the things that you got to pay attention to.
Okay, so let's break down one of these plays. Two-point conversion late in the game. Dallas trying to keep it at more than a field goal advantage. What happened on this play that allowed Jaden Daniels to be successful?
Let's take a look at it, okay? So right here, you guys remember Micah Parsons, how he was kind of jumping up and down and kind of showing, looking like he was throwing a hissy fit against Wanye Thomas? Well, I'm going to explain to you guys why. All right off the back, okay, I want you guys to pay attention to Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is going to be right here. Okay, he is the man that is going to be trying to come out, get outside of the pocket. Now, if you're taking care of business, all right, you're going to have Donovan Wilson right here. His job is to set the edge. Okay, that means that his man, he's not allowing this guy to get out and reach him. He wants his guy to come out here and try to kick him out. But when you don't get that, then you have a negative play. Let's go ahead and see it play out. Okay, boom, pause it right here. Right now, Donovan Wilson has to come out here and turn everything back inside. These guys have to be going in here. But when you don't set the edge, now these guys can go here and they can get outside you. Let's go ahead and see it play out some more. All right, boom. Now all of a sudden, Donovan Wilson does not have the edge. Pause it, okay? So you're able to get that seal block. Now, who's the next man? Wanye Thomas. Since he didn't get the seal block, now you have to come out here and seal the edge, because if you do, Micah Parsons can now shoot this gap. You would turn the play back inside where Jaden Daniels has to put his foot in the ground and go that way, and he's going to run into a Micah Parsons. But when you don't do that, you don't seal the edge, now everybody gets to the outside, and now Jaden Daniels gets to do what he does best, and that's run with the football. That's why you see Micah Parsons right here throwing his hands up out of frustration, because not only did one guy miss setting the edge, two guys missed setting the edge. If they would have just turned it back inside, Micah would have had a big hit on Jaden Daniels.
Well, that's the thing. It's all got layers to it, and when you say defense is built with layers, there you see it. One layer didn't do their job. You got a second chance, didn't do your job. And so the other layer, Micah Parsons, trying to run free, he doesn't do it as well. Great job breaking it down, Isaiah Stanback, as always. Because of that, you're going to get an opportunity, and because of a win, you're going to get an opportunity to hand out Isaiah's dog of the game. When we come back, who could possibly be the dog that helped get things done for the Cowboys in Washington?
Dallas Cowboys Game Night was presented by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
Talking about one of the big deals for this offense, they've turned it over fewer times than anybody in the league. Great break up right there by Josh Butler, who's getting his opportunity with Trayvon Diggs out. He makes it 4th and 2, and Dan Quinn sends the field goal team out there.
No Trayvon Diggs. Josh Butler stands up in a big way, and the Cowboys win 34-26, the final score in Washington. Back alongside Isaiah Stanback. And Isaiah, with the Cowboys win, that means you get to hand out a dog of the game. Dog with a W, as in Washington Huskies, like Isaiah played back in college. Who's your dog this week?
Well, I'm going to say that my dog is Josh Butler today. All right, we're going to go with Josh Butler. This dude had 12 total tackles. This dude had a sack. Okay, he had, what else did he have? He had 3 passes deflected. He stepped up in the role that you expect out of a Deron Bland or of a Trayvon Diggs who was not present. He was my dog of the day, because without him and what he did today, I'm not sure you walk away with the dub.
That's one positive as well, as the Cowboys, of course, entered this week at 3-7. A lot of individuals are looking for evaluation time. Josh Butler is a young, unproven player in this National Football League. He stepped up in such a big way that I think now people remember this. People will remember a game like this. A lot of times 12 tackles isn't a good thing for a corner, but today it was.
Today it was, especially when you add the passes deflected, and especially who he was tasked with guarding, and Scary Terry. You take care of business like that, now all of a sudden when Trayvon Diggs gets back and Deron Bland gets his legs up underneath him, now you have a Josh Butler who's sitting up there confident as well. So you just continue to build the momentum and building these young guys up so that they can step in and fill those roles.
The Cowboys get it done on the road at Northwest Stadium, 34-26, the final. For Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Yeomans. We'll see you this week. Got a short week going into Thanksgiving.